It's movie time. We're back again with movie time. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you had a fantastic couple of days and Friday time. So I'm your host Grayson, coming at you from Chicago. And with me, of course, is my co-host Olaf. Hey Olaf, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. It's been another lovely day in the great state of Indiana. I got a chance today to detail my truck,
Now,
and
was it very gossipy?
it's like I was able to detail it. It's like the previous owner put this big whale tail thing on the back end of the truck, and I took it off today, so I detailed my truck.
Nice.
Now you know all the details.
Yep.
It's like the details was 6 bolts and a couple of wires, and it's off there.
Sweet. What a whale of a deal.
I had a whale of a time detailing my truck.
There you go. And also with us, of course, is our co-host, Arbo. Hey, Arbo, how you doing?
I am doing really good. I'm eating rings made out of onions.
Yes, it's all about onions and rings tonight. Now, I had my
Oh.
very first White Castle experience.
I was going to say, them look like White Castle onion rings. I've seen them before.
Yep. They resemble real onions.
Indeed.
And taste like real onions, too.
Good yeah, them's good.
Yep. And as we say, now our show is now brought to you by Production Next. Would you like to tell them about Production Next, Olaf?
Production Next is a piece of just phenomenal software for the filmmaking industry. It gives you everything you need. Is kind of your production assistant. It's kind of like your production assistant in a box.
Yep.
It is an amazing. What it's like. What do you think? Or what's the best? What feature do you like the best, Grayson?
I think right now the stripboarding feature.
Oh yeah, that is awesome.
I like it most of all, Scarecrow.
What it's like? What about you, Arpo? What's your favorite feature?
Well, I do like watching board strip, but I have to say that the greatest feature about it is that if you're a wardrobe person, all you're going to get on it is the information you need for the wardrobe. You're not going to get the lighting in for information and the setting in for information. It is the next generation of production.
Right.
And the name, production.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that there's like the call sheets for the day go out. Your dailies are right there where you can find them. Everybody who needs access to it can access it, and those that don't need to be looking at that stuff can't look at it.
Yeah. And for all of those who want to join our Production Next wave, and because this is an amazing piece of software, and you'll be going like, why did I not have this for my last production? You can go on productionnext.com, and if you go and register, and you tell them that the Movietime referenced you, they'll be a really great deal there for you. You will not regret it, folks, to have Production Next software to be part of your production. It will save you a ton of time and horrendous paperwork.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, you get your digital domain so that you don't have to worry about, oh, did it arrive there? Did it get there? You know, did some PA leave it on their truck for the night? Your production manager gets it right at this click of a button.
And best of all, nobody else can access your information.
Yep. Completely secure network. It's kind of interesting that we make mention of security, which brings us to our first article. Would you like to introduce this one, Arpo?
Security. Well, when I think security, I think insurance. We all want insurance to feel secure.
Yes.
But terrorism insurance for concerts?
Yep.
Okay, I think we're starting to push it just a teeny bit hard.
Yeah. First of all, this was inspired by the act from Las Vegas. Let's put this out there. This was not an act of terrorism. The guy did not have some nefarious, white supremacist cause, not some weird. He was just saying, let's bottom line it. The guy absolutely lost it and started spray shooting the audience.
And not in a good way.
Yes. And it's not one specific person he was targeting. He wasn't going, damn, I hate country music, I gotta shoot all the country music singers. He was randomly shooting for mass destruction of it. Now, was he doing, is that considered an act of terrorism? No, that's an act of insanity. He had no specific target in mind. He wasn't like, I'm going to shoot every black person in the audience. I'm not going to shoot a specific, I'm not shooting democracy. It was a random act of mass killing, not an act of terrorism. So.
But here's what I don't get. I can understand maybe a venue wanting to have insurance against that.
Yes.
But the people who are buying the insurance are the musical acts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. If I go to a concert and get killed by some crazy person in the audience.
Not even in the audience, at a hotel.
Yeah. My family is not going to sue Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
They're going to sue the venue.
Exactly.
And yet it's the stars, it's the concert performers who are being sold this insurance. It just seems a bit gaming to me. That's just an opinion.
Yep. Well, also another problem that I have with this is the fact that it's like, then what do we do now if you have a person on the highway who goes shooting off at cars randomly? Well, do we buy highway insurance every time we drive?
Right. Well, as far as the performer having to carry the insurance, it seems like, as Arpo was saying, it seems like, if I got killed at a concert, they're not gonna, whoever, my family's not going to sue the artist that's on the stage performing. They would sue, if they would bring suit against the venue because they didn't provide adequate security. That would be the reason, is because they didn't provide adequate security so that everybody was safe in the venue. Of course, now this particular situation in Las Vegas, he wasn't at the venue. He was at a hotel near the venue, and that's, I don't. You can't plan. I don't think you can plan for every contingency of some sort of, you know, insanity or terroristic act. I don't think you would be insured out the wazoo to be able to cover everything that could possibly happen. I mean, depending on where you're at, a tornado could go through, and that could, you know, ruin this. Like, you know, and you could get killed in by a tornado in a at a venue or an event of some sort. You know, a freak lightning storm comes through or something. I don't see where it's the responsibility of the performer unless the performer is, it's like whoever is throwing the event um, is some sort of really, you know, radical group of some sort, and they're having an event, and somebody comes in and starts shooting up the place.
Yes,
Then,
I was, yeah, very quick. I was going to say, don't sue the act unless it's the Dixie Chicks.
you know,
And they probably think something that piss someone off.
if the act is something that would, you know, propagate something like that, some sort of an attack like that, then yes, the act needs to have the insurance.
But again,
But
you can't say who would be exactly the person to do this.
exactly, like I said, how do it would be very difficult to deter. It becomes discriminational and everything else if you start saying, "Oh, you're going to put on a program and you're going to have people come up and talk about, well, let's just say abortion."
Yes.
You know, that could incite a riot and some bad feelings and some, you know, something in the crowd because of the type of performances on. But again, doesn't really matter who's on the stage. You know, yeah, if they're really something like, you know, that's really a hot topic or a hot button topic, and you're going to perform or, you know, talk or whatever you're doing, then you might want to think about getting the insurance just in case something happens and somebody does sue. But I still think it falls on the venue itself,
It
not
does.
on
Yeah,
the performers.
I don't care how controversial the act is.
Right.
The responsibility belongs to the venue.
Right. Yeah,
It's just
I
another
agree. It's
example.
like it shouldn't be up to the doesn't matter what, like you say, it doesn't matter how controversial
Yeah.
the act or the, you know, the performer is. That's up to them if they want to, if they know they're controversial. And
Again, I'll give another good example of this. Rammstein, when they came here in the States, if you've ever been to a Rammstein's concert, you know exactly what you're going to get. It is a very controversial show. Madonna in the earlier years, very controversial show.
right,
You pretty much know the Beastie Boys. Thank you, where they ask you to show you their to show them your boobies through the show. You know exactly what you're getting. You know, this is not a mystery.
no, well, it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah. It's like no matter what it is, the venue, you cannot tell the performer that they can presume or predict every single member that's going to be in the concert hall or near the concert venue.
Exactly.
No.
That would be like they would have to have a crystal ball and have known that this guy was going to be in that exact same place at that exact same moment that they were performing and was going to do this exact act.
Right.
I'm sorry. Why don't we carry Psychic Friends Network insurance?
Carry what now?
Psychic Friends Network insurance. You know, go with the Celine Dion membership.
Yeah.
The Psychic Friends Network.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, no performer can predict what their audience is going to do at each one of these concerts.
Exactly.
You are there as a performer to perform. Whether your show is controversial or not, irrelevant. The insurance is there to protect people against, for example, ginormous mosh pits that, you know, people throw themselves at the performer, or they cause bodily harm to the performer. But what you do as an audience member, they cannot be legally, liably responsible. The venue can, but not the performers. So then have venues take out larger insurances. But again, it's like, can venues predict acts of terror?
No.
Yeah. I go on vacation to Universal Studios, Florida. I go there to ride the ride. The person behind me decides that they're going to be choking me in my seat on the ride. Could they have predicted that? No.
Maybe.
No, they wouldn't have been able to.
Exactly. So it makes this whole, you know, terrorism insurance thing be really dumb. If you want to do terrorism insurance, get it on the venues if you really, really want to. But then what's next? Every movie set that you go, every single, you know, amusement park, theater. How far do we go with this?
Right.
Do we put it as part of our car insurance? Yeah. It's like, where does it stop? Where does people get the opportunity to even be able to say what's going on with the with this, and when does it go too far? I think it already has gone too far when you're like, okay, you're a performer and you're liable for this.
Right. Again, as Arpo said, and we've all said, it's not the responsibility of the performer.
No.
It's just another example of our litigious society pushing the wrong people into a position where they feel they have to protect themselves.
Yes.
And the insurance companies are eating it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the more events that happen, and the more insurance they can sell for it, the more money they make.
Yeah. So, which brings us then now to our next article. Olaf, would you love to tell us our next article? All about the Netflix world.
It's like, I would love to tell you about the Netflix. It's like Netflix has settled with executive claiming sexual harassment. It's like, no, it seems like there was a former Netflix HR director accused Netflix of tolerating harassment and discrimination by its executives. Of course, Netflix denies it, but they settled the case.
Yeah. So we didn't do it, but we're going to settle in anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, we didn't do it, but let's see. How about we settle for like 1.5 million?
Yeah.
But we didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Of course they didn't. Liars! Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's where I will go with this. Sometimes it is easier to settle a lawsuit than it is to go through the whole dragging out in court. But if really you are that innocent, I will drag myself through court as many times as I need to.
Right.
Because the vindication will be far more exceedingly satisfying than settling for 1.5 million. Which, mind you, Netflix is a drop in the bucket. But in the meantime, it's like, it certainly screams, gosh, I did it. Gosh, I really, really did do it, even though I said I didn't. If I don't feel any guilt whatsoever,
Right.
Why would I settle it? I'd be like, no, you don't get even one single Yoden penny. Okay, and then yet at the same time, on the other side of the argument, one could argue then that saying, well, if I settle for the smaller amount, if the tide turns against me in court, then I will have to do the bigger amount.
Right.
Well, there's also the fact that the longer it drags on in court, the longer it's in the headline.
Yes.
And that's bad publicity for you.
Yes.
So sometimes a company will settle just to
make it go away. Yeah. So, are they guilty? Are they not guilty? We don't know.
Well, evidently, the person that this is that filed the suit, had been worked in the HR departments of a lot of, multinational companies or corporations. Netflix was impressed by a presentation he did on how to do business in China. They talked about bringing him in, recruiting him, and evidently not long after the phone conversation, he found out his son was murdered.
Yes.
And that went on to, they said he basically experienced trauma and depression as a result of his son's death, but Netflix went ahead and offered him a position of director at like $500,000 a year, and told him if he worked at half his normal speed for 6 months, that was okay. It's like, but within a few weeks of his employment, he said was being harassed and ostracized by being disengaged and not doing things the Netflix way. So
yes. What is the Netflix way?
Yes, that's the way. It's like the inquiring minds want to know, what is the next Netflix way?
Is it anything like
the Disney
way?
I don't know.
And then and then things got worse. Seems like there was a male superior in the Netflix talent group that made a pass at him.
Great.
And it's like he did not accept the pass. But I guess invitations to go out continued. So that's where he's filing his sexual harassment against the Netflix executives.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there you go. And so, what have we learned, folks? Harassment comes in all shapes and sizes. Whether, like I said, Netflix is guilty or not guilty, they still settled. Sometimes settlement is a good thing. Sometimes settlement is not a good thing.
Right.
So there we go.
And sometimes it's better for the truth to be known than never to be known. Because most people equate making the payoff as a sign of guilt.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily. But it's harder to prove that it's they're not guilty.
Right. Because as we were discussing, if you're not guilty, why do you pay out? Even though sometimes it's easier just to say, "All right, how much do you want? Here, go away." But,
Yeah.
A payout doesn't always
mean a sign of guilt.
Yeah, it's not an admission of guilt. Not always.
So that's what we've learned from this one tonight. It's like, and folks, like I said, you want to know more about it, read the Hollywood Reporter article. So, which goes on to moment number of our third and wonderful article today. Now, this one is, again, also brought to you by the Hollywood Reporter. This one states, Nickelodeon fires Loud House creator after sexual harassment allegations. Well, folks, it's all starting to come out now. And this is why we told you, the dominoes just keep right on coming. Multiple women have come forward and accused animator Chris Savino of inappropriate behavior. Apparently, him and the fact that Tarantino knew about Harvey Weinstein's behavior and said nothing. There's all of these mea culpas that seem to be happening in the industry after you get caught.
Right.
So,
I was like, oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just teasing. Yeah, that doesn't fly.
Yeah, and fortunately with Nickelodeon, they're a Viacom-owned company. Viacom takes their business very seriously and does not really tolerate that kind of stuff. And that there were no longer consensual relationships with him. And according to the Cartoon Brew, which is first the news, so they say that he's no longer working for Nickelodeon. We take the allegations of misconduct very seriously, and we are committed to fostering a safe and professional workplace environment free of harassment of other kinds and inappropriate conduct. So, in other words, it's like Nickelodeon, it takes their situation obviously much stronger than the other company who is trying to save their butt right now from Weinstein company, that capital company who is, I think it's Conroy Capital. Could be wrong. Again, it's like, feel free to correct me, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, the capital company that still is like, we're trying to save our butts against the whole Weinstein thing. In this particular case, Viacom is very serious about doing that sort of thing. They are a parent company of many networks. So to them, it's serious allegations enough that they're cleaning house. We have a zero tolerance policy on harassment in the Nickelodeon group.
Right.
And also in the current climate, necessary to say that if you should encounter an uncomfortable situation at work, witness one, you are safe to speak up in this environment without fear of repercussion. So, wow. Way to go, Viacom.
Yes.
And
yes, indeed. Indeed.
Yep. It's like, and they say Nickelodeon is incredibly successful at the moment, continues to thrive because the people who work here now put your heart and soul into what you do, and we are committed to giving you the tools and resources you need to succeed and thrive here. So that's actually a
Right.
very positive statement. So, way to go, cinema. And thank you very much for the person who brought forward these allegations. So, I would say awesome to you. And it's like, it only hits the tip of the depravity iceberg. Because our next article brings us to a whole new level. Go for it, Olaf.
Vox Media fires editorial director Lockhart Steele over misconduct. That seems to be the theme of tonight, is all these misconduct and stuff.
Yep.
Seems he was like Lockhart was terminated on Thursday. It's like he admitted to engaging in conduct that is inconsistent with our core values and not tolerated at Vox Media. Okay, if you admit that you did it and you know you're not supposed to, aren't you like supposed to be in a position to stop it?
Yes.
Hmm.
And like I said, this goes into a series of mea culpa after this has happened. We're caught with our pants down.
Yeah.
And to me, I sit there and say, you were caught with your pants down, dudes. Why? Why is this not being cleaned up faster?
Because one domino had to tip over first before the rest could fall.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Harvey. You were the first domino.
Yep.
Now, Vox Media has commented to they are committed to fostering a safe and welcoming community, and appreciates those who have been willing to speak up and share information during the course of the investigation.
You know, there seems to be another theme. We appreciate you speaking up now that we've been caught.
Well, no, I think this is Vox Media is saying they appreciate that somebody finally actually stood up and said, "Hey, this isn't right."
Yes.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe one question. How long did they know it wasn't right before that person finally spoke up?
Yeah, like I said, I guess in other words, until a former employee spoke up. I guess they didn't realize it was going on.
Yep. Well, and they say, according to all, which first reported on Steele's departure from Vox, the Medium post that Beckhoff references the former designer who describes the misconduct by a superior, but does not name the company that they worked for on the people or the people involved. Again, the words naming the names comes to mind.
Something like that, yeah.
Gee, a show like one that sounds very familiar made mention of this on previous episodes. If you don't bring forward the names, you're giving them the power to continue to do this. So, there you go. And it's happening at all levels, as you can see. Television industry, film, it seems to know no bounds.
No, it doesn't.
And the fact that right now it takes this long, that's a sickness, folks. Why was it hidden for so long? What made it that hidden for that long?
For some reason, people are afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
Because it seems in sex assault cases, the victim gets victimized more in the press, in the court, in the legal system
Yeah.
than the perpetrator.
Yep. The other night we were over at a wonderful forum that talked about this, and the fact that it's like the minute that they find that they try to get away, some of the limitations of the resources that are available to them, and how that often they are victimized once again.
Yeah.
And if they speak out and then have to go to court, and actually it goes to court, then whoever the victim is has to relive that moment and everything, because in court they have to give all the details of what happened, how it happened, when it happened, and where it happened, so that the jury can hear this, so they can decide whether the other person is guilty or not.
Yeah.
So however long the trial drags out is, then that the victim has to relive this and relive it, and every day, and sit in court, across from the person that did this to them. So, I mean, it just victimizes the victim even more.
Yes. And it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and just a mini thing for all of those people who are following our What Did She Say sites. We are up to 1.24K people this week.
Yeah.
Yay!
Woohoo! And we have over 346 page likes.
Yay.
Go people. Gosh, it's got to be feel good. There you go, a little light in our darkness of our world.
Golf clap.
Woohoo! So for all you folks, it's like, victimizing a person not once but twice. They get victimized by the initial crime, and then they get victimized by the actual society that doesn't to actually give them the resources for their crime to be able to get the help.
Like most victims, when they tell people about it and they find out they're in court, the victim is the one that usually gets the finger pointed at and going, well, if you hadn't been wearing that, or if you hadn't have been doing this, they probably wouldn't have harassed you.
Like Donna Karen said on Wednesday. Oh my God. Yeah.
She had to change her fashion line name from Dignity to Donkey.
Yes. It's like, I mean, that's ridiculous. It's like, no, the way you dressed, the way you spoke, that's not an excuse.
No.
Which brings us, though, to a very famous and final article for tonight. And for this, we give it to Arbo.
My goodness.
This one gets juicy.
Domino after domino. So, you all know Tyler Gresham, right? No?
Nope.
Oh. Well, he works for a company called APA. It's a talent agency. And Tyler Gresham specialized in being an agent for child actors.
Dun dun dun.
He's just been fired. See if you can guess why.
Did he molest any children?
Could be.
Inappropriate behavior.
Sexual harassment.
The veteran agent accused of sexual harassment and assault from numerous men. They're men now who have spoken out on social media this week, including Blaze Godwin-Littman, Lucas Ozorowski, and Jordan Gavaris, very famous child star.
Yep.
APA fired him. No shit.
Yeah. We'll tolerate it for a while with women, but children, no. That's when we suddenly put a foot on it.
Yeah, that's kind of a no, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. It should never have happened to women. Should never happen to children. Should never happen as part of an agency's profile.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need to be part of the casting couch, folks, to be having a good agent.
That's right. And you know who else fired him? Even before he got fired by the agency?
We don't hear you, Harpo.
What happened? Fired before.
Yep. It's like, and this is the problem with the agencies. There we go.
There you go. Yes, no. Someone else who fired him, and I forget the boy's name now, but he's the star of Stranger Things. And he fired the guy. And it just makes me wonder, did he fire him because of the accusations? Or did perhaps something happen to him?
Well,
which would be horrible.
it is.
I mean, for me, pedophilia is beyond disgusting.
Yeah. And you know what the scary part is? Jordan Gavaris was the one for Orphan Black, the guy who played Felix. And he actually had this happen to him when he was younger with this agent. And he says, like, posted claims of misconduct and experience by Graham, and he tweets can be seen below. And Jordan Gavaris says, when I was 21, Tyler Graham repeatedly harassed me about my sexuality and forcibly implied he could protect me if I joined his roster. But if I didn't do, my career might be derailed. Also, he later harassed me over the phone, and I declined dinner invitation from him to his home of a notorious producer. Gee, I wonder who a notorious producer is.
Let's see, a producer who's notorious.
Yes. There's so many at this point.
Does he share a name with a 6 foot tall, invisible?
I don't know. He repeatedly accused of sexual harassment of minors. Graham would also be present at the dinner. And he told me I was overreacting to this. I told him he was dangerous. In my opinion, he's not changed in conclusion. So, there you go. So, again, you're looking at Blaze, Godby Littman, you look at Jordan Gavaris. It's like, seriously, folks. We need to maybe clean up the agency houses too. And APA is not a small agency.
No, they're huge.
Which makes it sadder. So where does it stop?
That is the million-dollar question: is where and when will it stop?
Yeah.
It stops with you.
Yeah.
That's where it stops.
We
It
stopped
stops by you out there who have been harassed, who have been molested, coming forward and telling the world what happened.
And who was it that did it?
Exactly. The who is more important than the what. You don't have to give us the details.
That's for a court to show the details.
Yes. But if you don't tell us who, you're not helping the situation.
So we would love you guys to have the audience that if you know somebody who has been sexually harassed, feel free to contact our show and let them know, and let us all know, so that we can actually name them out loud of who did it and what. In the same way, I invited Corey Feldman to please come on our show.
Don't sneeze on air.
I sneezed on the truth.
Yes.
We invite you to come on the show, and feel free to name as many names as you would like.
Wow. This has been such a heavy show. I wish we had something light to cover for a change.
Well, we've been the Diet Coke of evil for right now for a while. And the reason why we cover these stories is they're very poignant to our time.
Yes.
And we at Movietime are committed to making sure that everybody knows in depth about what's going on in the industry. And we don't shy away from it. So that's why we do what we do. If we can help with one person, then this whole show becomes worth it.
Yes.
Now, that being said, we've also had a couple of happy stories, including congratulating Nicole Sexton for her new work at EIF.
Yes. What a wonderful organization they are.
They are. And folks, if you want to know who EIF are, I encourage you to look them up. They are truly a wonderful organization. And some of the people that they tout in there are people like Sherry Lansing, who was involved with that. Now, this also, I will put out my own personal plea. Sherry Lansing, if you ever hear our show, please come on for an interview. Because you're who I want to be when I grow up. Because we love you. Seriously. That's like a bold step for women in the industry. And she came in a world when it was extremely tough. And wow, what a fighter came out.
For that time, what she did was nothing short of miraculous.
Yeah. If I could have half her accomplishments in life, I'd consider it a full and happy life, career-wise. It's like she was there in an industry that at the time that women weren't really considered viable players in the industry.
And yet, what did she become?
Yep. Head of a studio. So, with that said, congratulations, Nicole Sexton, also. And
Yes.
I would also like to congratulate the copyright industry as well. This is my little bit of championing tonight as well. For those who have been following the story of channels that they did cleaned up versions of show that they had no copyright to, I would like to congratulate the industry for finally getting one of these people off the air. Now, I know, folks, it's like some of you are going to be upset, but this in particular internet company has been shut down, and to me, I'm extremely happy about it. And I will tell you why.
Wait. I thought they read that they took a chapter 11 and are actually still in business and
no,
expanding their repertoire.
they're not going to expand their repertoire because they will be shut down.
Yes, ma'am.
See, now that's the whole thing, is that companies, whether you have copyright or no copyright, you're pirating. Whether you want to call it, I cleaned up the program, did you have the rights to it? You don't have the rights to it? Shouldn't be doing it. Just say.
Psst, Olaf, agree with her. She signs the paychecks.
You know, I hate that pesky mute button because I agreed with you and I said, yes, that's true.
Yes. There you
There needs to
go.
be a little red light to let you know when the mute button's on.
I know, right? And so we've had that piece of good news also in the industry. And of course, that for all of us who have been following the industry as well, more people come out against Harvey Weinstein.
Indeed.
Including another Oscar winner.
I believe they're going to keep coming out of the woodwork for him.
Yep.
Well, he doesn't dare set foot in Utah.
Yep.
See, Utah has this fun little law.
They have a law?
It's a fun law.
Other than polygamy is allowed?
Well, here's the thing. All crimes have, except murder, have what they call a statute of limitations. Most commonly, it's 7 years.
Okay.
But Utah has this fun little law that if the person leaves the state of Utah, the rapist, the clock stops.
Ooh.
And doesn't start again until they come back to Utah.
Wow.
So that means this woman is free to press rape charges against Harvey Weinstein, and is so doing.
Nice. And so poetic justice reigns once again.
Yep. Yeehaw.
Yeah. And here's also another interesting one. Chelsea proves Netflix can't always beat network TV at its own game. because apparently they just recently pulled her Chelsea Handler show. That she's moving after its second season and it concludes this year. She's pulling it from Netflix. So there's no other way to read this other than the demise of Chelsea. The streaming service talk show features Chelsea Handler, who announced Wednesday that she's moving after the second season concludes. So she's moving away, and it's like happy that Netflix tends to about the renewal. So maybe it shouldn't be all surprising that when you think about it, that it's like the contrast of Quiet and Chelsea in the White Hot Zone and the late night with Stephen Colbert that she announces this. So very interesting.
Yeah. Why
Things
would
that make
you
you go,
Yeah.
The thing is, she went to Netflix because she would have more freedom of expression.
Yes.
So it makes you wonder, why would she leave?
Mm-hmm. So
Wait, wasn't there another story about Netflix earlier in the show?
I know.
Maybe she disapproves of some of their executive policies.
Yep. Perhaps.
or maybe that just wasn't the Netflix way.
Yep. It is possible. She did not follow the Netflix way.
Oh, no.
Now, just when we think that the fun of this doesn't end in terms of the Weinstein debacle, did you know that Colony Capital has 3 weeks window to avert Weinstein to bankruptcy? Okay. Colony Capital actually defended Harvey Weinstein.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they basically, Colony Capital, which is one of the main funnels for it. Sources tell Variety that Weinstein Co.'s financial situation, and particularly the debt load, is more dire than we previously thought. Nevertheless, Colony Capital, under the leadership of Tom Barrack, is still working towards some sort of purchase. Okay. Now here's where my problem lies. Why would you want to purchase Weinstein Co.? A company whose roots are going to be fruit of the poison tree. Why not just dissolve it? Your capital could be better spent elsewhere.
True.
His whole library is going to be absorbed anyway.
Well, that's the thing. Who's going to get the library?
Various other distributors.
It just seems to me that if you buy the Weinstein Company, then you're also buying the library.
Yes, but it also depends on, you know what they say, how much do you really want that kind of library?
Love the man, hate the man. And I do hate the man for what he's done. But Weinstein Company put up some truly remarkably brilliant films.
Yeah. But again, people are going to be looking at it as fruit of the poison tree. At what sacrifice? Now, my bigger question, though, of all of that, why does his wife claim ignorance?
Because he paid her to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a guess.
Yeah.
Because it's easier.
Yep. So basically, also though, what Quality Capitals, by the way, says is that the company is remaining assets are now in perilous danger. Weinstein is gone, having been fired after allegations of surfaced that he has been harassed and assaulted dozens of women over 3 decades. The top executives are now either looking for exits or facing difficult accusations of their own. So great, like Bob Weinstein has also been accused of harassing employees. Again. So I guess that they can like do really brilliant things together in court of both being harassment, it's like harassing settlements. Okay, so Bob Weinstein has been accused of that. David Glazer has been checkered legal history. So I'm not sure why these people would want to save this company. I'd say just pull your assets and start all over again.
Yeah, because the company that's there now is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Tainted a little bit.
Yeah.
Tainted a little bit.
And just friendly little hint to that board. If you're going to start over again, don't do it with Bob.
Yeah. Well, because Bob is also going to go to jail along with his brother. Who knows?
Yes.
Dollars to donuts. That just the name of Weinstein alone will not carry the same kind of fun.
No.
So there are some interesting stories. That being said, so Olaf, how do they get you in social media?
Well, you can stalk me on both Facebook and Twitter at Olaf Barbosa, but just don't stalk too close because I do get nervous and I have a very itchy trigger finger.
Excellent. And Arpo, how do they get you in social media?
Well, there are a number of ways, but first, back to the heavy. We've once again lost two of our own. Gord Downey. No, he's been home.
Nope.
Oh, he's Canadian. He made himself part of Canada's national identity with songs about hockey and small towns.
Oh, no wonder.
As lead singer and songwriter of an iconic rock band that's tragically hip.
Oh, man.
Now you
Now I know who he is. I like the Tragically Hip.
Yes, he died after a battle with brain cancer on Tuesday.
Yep.
And venerated, awarded, veteran, British, great character actor, Roy Dotrice.
Mm-hmm.
Died at his London home on Monday. He was 94.
Yep.
And is best remembered for Amadeus, Hellboy 2, The Cutting Edge, the original Beauty and the Beast series with Ron Perlman, and most recently for the Game of Thrones.
See, now I wouldn't know him from Game of Thrones. However, I do know all of those other titles.
Yes.
He played the wonderful coach in Cutting Edge.
Yes, he did.
He also played Vincent's father in Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Just a wonderful, wonderful actor. And like we say, our hopes and prayers are with their family in this difficult time. And yes, it is tragic to feel that we are losing a lot of people in this industry.
Yes.
Far too quickly.
So, a great loss to Britain and the world.
Yeah. A very talented member of the acting community.
Yes.
And a very talented singer, but he has been suffering for a while. The singer from the Tragically Hip.
Yes. And so that said, you can, if you want to be social, you can reach me on Facebook. If you want to do some biz, you can talk to me on LinkedIn. Or, hey, just Skype me. I'm always up for a chat. But make sure that you tell me that you are a fan of Movietime. Just like you want to do when you sign up for Production Nest.
Yep.
Say, I'm a fan of Movietime.
Indeed.
But in my case, it's because I get way too many invitations to marry Armenian women or robots who want my charge card numbers.
Yep. And with me, you can get me on LinkedIn, Wikipedia, on Facebook, also on Twitter at Sonata Grayson, and Movietime Indie, on www.pastlivesproductionsinc.net. And gosh, with 4 pages of footprint, if you can't find me, you're just not stalking me hard enough.
Record.
Hey, that's our show. We are 16 people in. And be sure to look for us at the AFM.
We'll be looking for you.
Yep. If you spot us, say hi. Because we'll be there doing press and wonderful interviews with down-up folk people in the industry. And this week coming up, we will be having Michael G. and Frito joining us.
Don't forget to send in his questions.
I know. We're all questions. And if you have any questions for Michael G. and Frito, who's been on our show a couple of times before, feel free to write them in for us.
The man is great.
He's
and
incredible.
He loves to answer your questions.
Yep. And with that being said, folks, we'll see you on Wednesday.
So long.
Thanks for listening.